Good morning. Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis. It is the 8th of February. Good to have you with us. Got a great show lined up for you. Valentine's Day is not that far away. We've got some great meal options for you, and it's Tasty Tuesday. Got a special guest joining you, and also another guest, one of our HCC faculty will be joining us soon as well. Dr. Tony Reyes-Sutherland joining me live from the HCCTV podcast studio. Good to see you, Tony. How's it going?
Good to see you. Yeah, February is Valentine's month, of course.
Yes, and we've got a lot going on this month, especially. We'll give you some tips for Valentine's Day. You know, maybe later in the show, later in the week, we'll get the guru himself. Frank will be here, and we can ask him some Valentine's tips for your Valentine, because Frank's the man. Yeah, so maybe we'll ask him.
Yeah, he's a man's man.
Yeah, so we'll get some tips from Frank later on in the week. So stick around for that. Tony, we're back on HCC TV. Thanks to those of you watching us live on Facebook and YouTube. As always, we're here every morning at 10 a.m. live when HCC is in session. But you can also catch us in social media anytime on one particular location if you want to follow us across social media, Tony.
Yes, look for Houston Community College District, not just HCC, because there's a lot of those out, but Houston Community College District. And you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, pretty much anywhere on social media. We're there, Houston Community College District. Find us and follow us.
Find us, follow us, like us, share us. You know the routine. Of course, we're glad to have you with us this morning. Okay, Tony, stick around because you're going to be introducing this next guest. You know, we're continuing to commemorate Black History Month. We have a couple of great guests coming your way, one of whom is with our history department, and he'll give us a look at African-American culture. Dr. Samuel Hogsett is the instructor with the HCC History Department, African-American Studies, and he's also our Black History guest. Good to see you, Dr. Hogsett. How are you?
I'm fine, John. Good, great to be on the show.
Good to have you with us. We're looking forward to having a great discussion with you in just a little while. So grab some coffee, relax. If you're interested, if you like lobster risotto, we've got a great segment coming up for you. So pay attention to this next segment.
Yes, sir.
All right, stick around. We'll be with you shortly. Right now, it's Tasty Tuesday, and we're happy to have our next guest returning to the show to talk about two of his ventures. We've got Chef Kenneth Hamilton. He's the executive chef for 713 Music Hall, which just opened, and also he's the general manager at Railway Heights Market. Kenneth, good to see you again. You are a busy man right now. Well, if we can get you to unmute your mic. There we go.
Oh, there we go. Good. Well, juggling between two venues. I have a music venue and then switch over. I also have another venue that's 30,000 square feet. We are a small business incubator. We help small businesses grow big with not a lot of overhead. You know, we're basically there teaching everyone. We have over 16 restaurants, and then the rest of the 36 odd vendors make up the remaining space, and it's all retail. And then, not to mention, we have a grocery store that's in there, and we're going to be selling like your daily incidental items that you need. So, you know, look out HEB and look out Kroger, because here comes RH Groceries.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to getting out there. I've been meaning to check that place out. So we're going to talk to you about the Railway Heights Market in a second. But first, tell us about the 713 Music Hall. You're the executive chef there. Obviously, this is at the new post-HTX location. Maybe you can tell us about that and your role.
Yeah, so with 713 Music Hall, I was with Live Nation before the pandemic over at Redvention. Now it's called Bayou Music Center. So now they opened up the 713 Music Hall, which is connected to post-HTX. My role there is the executive chef. And so what I'm doing there, I'm serving a different elevated style of food for the kind of shows we bring in. So it's a brand new building. I'm talking about new stage, new floors, state-of-the-art kitchen equipment. Everything is shiny in there. And then I'm also working next to another good friend of mine. She's a celebrity chef, Chef Dawn Burrell. And, you know, we've seen her before on Chopped. And so she was actually season 9's winner, I think. The season 3 winner, I can't remember the season. But yeah, that's who I'm working in partnership with Live Nation. And so, yeah, that's what we basically do there. So I'm just cooking for all VIP, all the talent that comes through, and just make those things happen. So when you guys see the next show, please come by, visit the show. And every time you get a plate, you know that's done by my hands.
And post HTX, I've seen people posting pictures from the location. From what I understand, it's just opening up. What can people expect with post HTX as it grows over the next several years? So with post HTX, what people can expect over there is that they're expecting basically what's going on with Railway Heights is just a different beast. It's like 713 Music Hall is in the same building with post HTX, but it's not the same company with post HTX. So, but yeah, you can expect multiple different restaurants opening up, multiple venues that's doing retail. So you just look out for it. And so we kind of partner with them to kind of make sure that, you know, if you're there, you can also come and check out a show over here. And then just, you know, just kind of stay and wait and just look for everything to kind of open up. Do you think with what's going on with post HTX and 713 Music Hall, and also realistically with what's happening with Railway Heights Market, you're seeing a lot more of these pop up, you know, back in maybe when you were young, and I know when I was young and when Tony was young, malls were the big thing where people went to congregate. They could spend a Saturday night there. They could go grocery shopping, go to the food court, maybe go get their clothing for the evening. But these seem to be replacing those. Do you see see that happening as the wave moves forward with these food venues or food halls? Absolutely, 100%. You know, focusing on when I was with Railway Heights, the company that I'm in partnership with them, those guys are the same people that gave you the first conservatory. They're the first ones that gave you Secret Garden. And then we're also the ones that gave you Bravery Chef Hall. And so the thing with these small places like this is people want to go more towards, you know, when you want to meet the owner of the place, you want to meet the owner of the restaurant. You want to meet the owner of who made your clothing, who made this soap. You know, the small businesses are actually growing way more attention than most people give it credit for. And so that's why these food halls are popping up. And, you know, thankfully I'm with one of the most successful food halls here in Houston. These guys, Bravery Chef has been running for 3 years. Railway Heights is going to be coming up on its first year in July. And, you know, Secret Garden's been around. So it's, you know, watching these things from here going all the way to different states. This is Legacy Food Halls. Also in there's another well-named food hall. These things are popping up everywhere because people are getting out of that high driven, very expensive things that's going when you go to the Galleria Mall, Katy Mills Mall, all of those malls like that. You know, you really don't feel like you're part of something that's growing. You just feel like something that's already been there. But with Railway Heights, you know, you actually get to meet every vendor and then meet every vendor and then grow a personal relationship with them. So that's why these things actually starting to grow some notoriety. Well, it's good to see that happening as a movement in Houston, certainly welcomed. And I'm looking forward to getting out to Railway Heights Market. Tell us what you're going to be making up for us today. What you're whipping up there? So what I'm whipping up today, and this is for Valentine's Day, we're actually going to make some lobster and baby portobello mushroom risotto. And this is something that's very sweet. You know, you want to think about Valentine's Day. You don't want to have anything too strong. You don't have anything too heavy on your stomach because, you know, you gotta make sure that your date you're trying to impress your date or you're actually trying to just get in good with your wife or husband. So you want to make something that's very, very nice, that's very easy for you to create and make. And this is something that's actually not that hard. And so when you think of risotto is short grain arborio rice. It's Italian style rice it's almost like pasta. So the best way to make risotto is you have to agitate it so you can release all the starches out of it. Always stir it. Always stir it. Always stir it. You're guaranteed 20 minutes on making risotto. And you want to always have it with vegetable stock, or you can do it with chicken stock or beef stock, just to add a little bit of flavor. And so what we're going to do here, we're going to go ahead and start prepping the risotto. So I already have risotto that's already cooked. And then you have the mushrooms already cut. You have butter. That's what's going to give it this creaminess. We have our Parmesan cheese. We also have our chopped parsley. We have some thyme, just give it a little bit of flavor. And then also have the lobster tails that I kind of chopped up in
find bits so you can get lobster through every bite. And
so you can pre-cook this ahead of time and just kind of put it together, plate it for your special person.
Exactly. You can just pre-cook it ahead of time. You cook the mushrooms. The only time you're going to cook something is when you cook the mushrooms, because you cook the mushrooms too early, it releases all the oils.
Right.
And when you add the salt in, it starts to give you like this black color. You don't want to color your risotto too much. You just want to have it enough to where you can see all of the lobster that's in there. You can see all of the mushrooms in. And then
you don't want it to be, you want to be able to see that. You don't want it to be all, one, color that you can't tell all the difference in it, right?
Right.
Yep.
One thing I always teach about and talk about is contrast is key. You always want to have things that pop out. So if you got a lot of brown, add some green. If you got a lot of green, add some red. You want to have, kind of like go against the grain with these things. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to get out there. And I'm talking to everybody that's, either getting back in the dating game for the first time. Don't be afraid to get back out there. Go out there, do it all over again. And, just kind of, be happy about it.
Right.
So after that, we have that. We're going to add our butter in. Just kind of stir it around a little bit. So Todd, it's been a long time since I've seen you, man, since the Acadian. I know. Coast.
Yeah, last time I talked to you, I think you had you were doing the Acadian restaurant. We talked about your background there and the style of cooking you were doing, and that was about a little over a year ago, I think.
Yes, that was a little over a year ago, and so kind of I took a sabbatical when I was there just to kind of refocus, spend some time with the kids. Spent some time with Nisi and things like that. So while I was doing that, I was like, well, let me refocus, regroup, see what I want to do. And then after that, I realized, hey, man, let me start focusing on opening up a new concept, helping other concepts build, watching people grow. And that's what I'm all about is growth.
Right.
So letting that stuff kind of happen. So now we just tossed in the Parmesan. I'm going to toss in a little bit more butter.
You can't skimp on the butter. I've always noticed butter is always a good thing in life.
Butter's always a great thing. So now once that starts to melt, now we're going to add in the lobster. And this is where you turn the heat off. You don't want to add in lobster and cook the lobster over again.
Right. You're just warming it up more or less.
Yeah, just warming it up. So give it a couple flips. Then now we're going to add in a little parsley on the inside. And then we're going to garnish it with parsley again.
Do you ever kick up the notch there and add maybe a little cayenne or Cajun seasoning to that?
Oh, man, yeah. There's so many ways you can do risotto. Risotto is so versatile. But the main thing about risotto is make sure that you cook it to it's al dente, which means to the teeth. So you want to have a little bit of rawness to where it gets stuck in your teeth a little bit.
You don't want it like mashed potatoes or grits.
No. A French chef will kill you if that happens. So I'm going to garnish it with a little bit more parsley, some more Parmesan, and then my favorite, very easy herb to eat is thyme. You're just going to add that around like that.
You see, so easy enough. You get all this done ahead of time. You plate it, you put it together. You're really going to impress a date with this.
Oh, yeah. This here, you bring this to the table, I promise you'll be a winner after this one. Lobster, you can never go wrong with lobster and women.
Chef Kenneth Hamilton, we appreciate you joining us this morning. You and Nisi are going to be stars today because I think Nisi's going to be on the topic this afternoon.
Yeah, she's going to be on the topic this afternoon. So This is a fun-filled day for both of us. It's so good to see that we're doing this power couple thing. It's a fight. We love it, but I wouldn't imagine doing it with anybody else.
Well, she's got a hard act to follow. Tell her to bring some food to the 1 p.m. showing.
I'll let her know to bring some food.
All right. Thanks, Kenneth. Good to see you as always. Continued success. And I'm going to get out there to Railway Heights. All right.
Yes, sir. We'll see you soon. Thank you, Todd.
Right. Take care, Kenneth. That looks incredible. Tony, what do you think? Go ahead and unmute your mic, Tony, because I had to mute your microphone there. So unmute your mic on your other computer. Can you get it? There you go.
Yeah,
all right. Yeah. That looked pretty good, didn't it?
Oh, it looked wonderful. And lobster, he's right. You can get us by serving us lobster. We love that.
Can you get your husband to plate that up for you?
I'm going to try. Of course,
Okay.
his cooking is not the best in the world. So
Wow.
the best thing for him
Wow.
to do is to just order it and have somebody else cook it, and then I'll eat it.
Okay. Well, gee whiz, man. Okay, Tony. Wow, that's a tough order.
Cook in the house, okay?
All right, Tony, we're going to turn things over to you. You've got a very special guest. Dr. Samuel is going to join us to talk about African-American culture and how it relates to Black History Month. I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to you.
Okay, Dr. Samuel Hogsett, he's the instructor with HCC History Department, specializing in African American studies, and our Black History guest. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. Good to be here. Great to be here, actually.
This is wonderful. I was going to say it's African History Month. It's Black History Month, same kind of, basically the same thing. And, but you teach African American Black studies, and we understand there's a lot of challenges in education about teaching it. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, when you talk about challenges in education around Black history, let me just start by saying, for me, every day is African American and or Black history. Every day, not just during the short month of February. When you say challenges, yes, certainly there's a lot of challenges. For one, low enrollment, limited staffing. Oh boy, and a lack of exposure, especially recently, given the history of African and the struggles around African American / Black studies. You would think in 2022 that we would have more interest and more buy-in. But it seems like the programs have to constantly prove their relevancy. And so it's a struggle to prove why it's relevant. It's a struggle to get funding, frankly, and to get the idea of Black history or the information about Black history out there. Now, I'm going to tell you, right now with the social activism around issues of racial equity and human justice, there's a renewed interest in it, but we have to also at the same time combat some stereotypes and misinformation. And so I don't know how much you know about, I suspect you know a bit about what's going on, but let's take a quick look at something. See, once you got me started, it's going to be hard to slow me down.
There you go. That's okay. It's a passion for you and should be. Yes.
Oh yes. It's what I live and breathe. Okay. Right now, if I say critical race theory, that's a hot button. That's a hot button. If I say that, people are going to go, whoa, wait a minute. You're making people feel bad. Well, okay, let me be real clear about this. I don't teach critical race theory.
Okay. What do you teach?
Now, I teach history.
I like that. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Period. Now, here's the caveat, though. When we talk about history, listen, I deal with facts. I deal with documented, verifiable information, period. I'm an expert in this. Now, here's the deal. If it makes some people uncomfortable, and history's not supposed to make you comfortable, it's full of distortions, deletions, omissions, outright lies, murder, rape, et cetera, also wonderful things, freedom, liberty, struggles, great ideas, great people. However, often it makes you uncomfortable. Let me give you an example about uncomfortable for a Black man. Every time I see a movie dealing with slavery, which seems to be the only topic that you see a lot about, I'm frankly uncomfortable.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, I'm uncomfortable. However, it's a reality. It happened. It's a reality. Do I feel bad of it? You're absolutely right. Am I enraged? Absolutely. However, it happened. It happens.
It's like the Bible. It's not all good stories. Some of those stories are pretty scary, because it's about truth. It's about life, and life is both good and bad, right?
That's right. So this is what I tell people. If you feel bad as a people, you feel bad because your people are portrayed in a particular way, then this is what you can do. This is what I tell my students. You can't change the past, but you can change the here and now. You can change what you do. Do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Pretty simple, but often very hard, it seems, for people to do. As a historian, you need to know, whenever I come on a show or anything like that, I always research. I've got so much stuff in front of me, it's not funny. But there was a great struggle around getting these programs in the first place. In 1968, there was a strike, 4-month strike at a college, San Francisco State College. Now it's the San Francisco State University. And it was faculty, Chinese American students, Mexican American students, Black students, white students, and students for Democratic Society, which was a radical student group at the time, and another student group called, their name just escapes me, but they were also white students, got together and they pushed hard. They actually, with the faculty, they struck to get Black Studies programs. And that was the first Black Studies program in 1968. And it went like wildfire all over the nation. However, since that time, it's waxed and waned. Funding has been cut. Funding seems to always be cut in education recently.
Yeah.
But
that's our middle name, I think.
Yeah, I think so. So we've had, so currently here we are, after the sacrifice that a lot of people made to do this, because let's be very clear about this. When you start talking about looking at examining the history of a people, and especially here in the American experience, we have to understand the role that Black people have played. Fundamentally, we have affected every area in the United States, every area. Let's not even talk about music, entertainment, education, so much, politics. I mean, so much. And yet, here's the thing that I like people to really understand. We were enslaved up to around 1865, right? Mm-hmm. To come from that type of condition, and just do the math, I'm not good at math, 1865 to 2022, to make the progress we've made since that time is phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
It is
yes,
tremendous.
There's problems. Sure, there's problems. But here's the thing, there's a lot of progress. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. However, there's a lot of progress, but the thing that we need to have is education. So education is a great leveler. It's a great tool. There's nothing, I wouldn't be on your show if I didn't have education. So the thing about it is that we need to have increase in education around the Black experience. So that's African, you can call it African American studies, you can call it Black studies, but we need to have that. Now, I have a class right now, African American history, right? Mm-hmm. I've got low enrollment. I'm like, where
you
am I
would think that there would be high enrollment right now for that particular subject.
No, it's
to learn more about the actual historic facts. I mean, it's one thing to feel this way and feel that way, but learn about the facts and then move from there, right?
And from work from there. Absolutely, positively, you're absolutely right. But when people are listening, I'm like putting a plug. Take a class, take an African American history class. You don't have to take it with me, but you can take it with somebody, because we're professionals and we're going to put it out there, and you get a chance to really understand why things are the way they are, at least as far as the Black experience.
Tony, I wanted to jump in real quickly because we got just a few minutes, but I wanted to get your take, Dr. Hogsett, in a couple of things. When I think of history, I also think about current events that could become history as we move forward in the next couple of years. Two events that have popped up in the last couple of weeks. Real quickly, if we can get you to comment on these. President Biden said that he would nominate a African-American woman for the Supreme Court. That's one thing. Also, if you look at the NFL, what's going on there? Brian Flores, the former coach for Miami Dolphins, is now suing the NFL because of not getting a job, saying that he was only being interviewed because he was Black to fulfill the Rooney Rule. Now the Texans, who had Brian Flores on their radar, are not hiring him and moving with Lovie Smith when they also were thinking of hiring a well-known white man who had no NFL coaching experience. What is your take on these events? Are these things we're going to be looking at 20 years from now saying, you know what, this sparked change, or these were events that we have to look at? Okay,
historians, real historians, we don't deal with what's going on right now. It's called presentism. We start looking at things 50 years removed so that we can see how things tie in, the different forces, and how one plays on another. If you ask me personally, what my take is on the NFL situation, it's about time. Yeah. It's about time. The timing might not have been the best, but it happened when it happened. As far as the Texans, put Lovie Smith in there. I don't, how would I put it? As a candidate, there's nothing, Lovie Smith is a good coach.
Right.
But I think McCowan didn't have the experience. And so Lovie's he keeps down the controversy, because if you bring Brian in, you're going to have more controversy. Now, going to President Biden and the Supreme Court, again, it's about time. It's about time. I'm glad he made a strong statement. I'm going to put an African-American woman up for Supreme Court. It's about time.
Dr. Hogsett, we appreciate you being here. We could probably talk to you for the whole half hour, so we're going to have to get on the topic sometime.
I wish we had.
Hey, invite me back. Give me a whole lot of time, and we can do this thing.
You got it. Yes. You got it, sir. Thanks for being here on the show this morning.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, Tony, we are going to, we're running out of time, but real quickly, we want to let everybody know about a work-study job fair that's going on, because it's very important. February 8th through the 10th, Financial Aid will host a virtual work-study job fair this week. It starts today, and it goes on through the 10th. So if you're looking for some financial aid that you don't have to pay back, this is a great option. We'll have a link after our show in our post so you can get more information. And keep in mind, registration is still going on here at HCC. Go to hccs.edu/apply for your registration needs. Tony, we're going to wrap up this morning's show. You're back tomorrow. I'm in the studio, right?
Yes, that's right. We're kind of going back, taking turns.
Back and forth. All right. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Todd Duplantis. 10 a.m. live, up to the minute. We'll see you tomorrow.